Hello, thank you for joining me. So I thought I'd do a little compatibility video for you. In the UK, we have this very odd, oh dear, I really don't like reality programs. In fact, I'm not a big fan of television, generally speaking, but years and years ago, this started, and it's this program is called The Only Way is Essex, which is like TOWIE, or the, if you put all the first letters of this, the anagram thing of that is well, it's not anagram, it's like, yeah, TOWIE, and don't know what they call it. Anyway, so this is really about life of a few privileged youngsters in Essex, a county in the UK, quite near London, sort of east of London, and yeah. So, and this program was like started off, and you kind of think, oh, these people are so nice, they get on so well together, and everything, and then you realise, as the series go by, that they are obviously told to be vindictive and nasty to each other. I'm sure it's not really how they were meant to be, but it's the newer ones, new series, I've stopped watching it now because it was just getting very catty. The girls will be like ganging up on each other, and there's always some sort of agenda. Anyway, but there used to be a guy in there that I find him quite cute. He's obviously terrible at relationships, but then he's quite young, and his name was Lockie, they call him, and he's really James Locke, and he was seeing this lady called Yasmin, or Yaz, and to look at them, they look really sweet together. I really wanted it to work between them, but anyway, it didn't, and it's just she's really, really not very confident, and so what she does, she attacks, and he's just got, I don't know, he's young, and anyway, so let's have a look at their charts and see. I don't know their time, so we're just going to go as we see things in terms of compatibility. Right, let's share their okay, so let's get rid of myself. And so as you can see, this is Yasmin. So she's quite she is very young, 1993. She's beautiful, really, really sweet. And she has trying to see what is her, it looks like, yeah, it looks like Sun has got the highest degree, so she is Sun Atmakaka. But really, to be honest, I don't really know what time she was born, so it could be that Moon can be her Atmakaka as well. So we're going to leave that. We're just going to see it in terms of these two together. So if we have a look at her chart, we will do both of them from Aries, because I really have no idea what time they were born. So she has, as an Aries ascendant, which is the natural first house of the zodiac. So first house ruler in the fourth house, and it's debilitated. So this is a debilitated Mars. So what it is, people who have this, particularly if it's their first house ruler or their Atmakaka debilitated, Mars is an action warrior, and it's like literally it's a house of emotions and feelings, and it's unable to act because it feels paralyzed by emotions. So you can see that is that's going to be quite problematic, really, in a sense. So she's and what she does, she seems to just like cope, and then she just literally comes out, and it's like an explosion of emotions come out, and that is what, Mars in is a logical planet. It's absolutely got no logic in Cancer or the fourth house, and what it does, it just literally can overreact, and just very emotional, and actually even it looks as the Moon will end up being in Virgo. So Moon in Virgo as well. So she's got that critical mind as well. Moon doesn't do so well in Virgo. And yeah, so that's pretty difficult for her as well. And, and 9th and 12th house ruler, Jupiter is also retrograde. So her kind of the wisdom, Jupiter is not very strong in Mercury signs. So it's a planet of looking beyond difficulties, can be very stuck on little things. So that's exactly what she's like with James Locke, you know. So yes, there seems to be critical, and she gets very, very agitated when he goes out with his friends. She's constantly messaging him, you know, so wants to know what he's doing, you know. Sort of that control thing is coming in as well. And you can see on the first house, she has got like an exalted fifth house ruler. Sun is in the first house, so she's intelligent, she's educated. And also Mercury is a third and sixth house ruler, so she's already quite Virgo-y, because Mercury is in their first house as well. So she's quite, it will be really good for her education, work and everything, but in terms of relationship, you know, she comes from that kind of lack. You know, Mercury doesn't do very well in Mars's sign. So it's like this, she reacts, her speech is very much like critical, and it is like it comes out very impulsively, and she always kind of says that she regrets that. She has got very strong Saturn though in her chart, so she's able to, it is also 10th and 11th house ruler, very strong. It's at sitting in the Multicone sign, so she's able to, you know, stay kind of grounded, and but she's quite mature in some ways, and Lockie's quite immature as well, so that is like probably not easy. But you can see also the houses that are really strong for her are her 12th house is really strong, because Jupiter is aspecting the 12th house, and there is also a an exalted Venus there too, so that's all very, very good. And so also the other thing that's good as well is that, you know, she has got like Jupiter Moon together. Oh, I know it's in the sixth house, but you know, that kind of uplifts the Moon a little bit, because Moon obviously in the sixth house is quite difficult, you know, and it kind of shows about like the nurture she's had as well, you know. But what happens here is that she's got Jupiter and Venus aspecting each other, and Moon and Venus aspecting each other. So this creates a situation where you're constantly wanting more, you know, like there is just no satisfaction. More is the issue there. And so let's have a look at James now that we know her positions. And Ketu Rahu, you can see she has Rahu in the 8th house, Ketu in the 2nd house. So now the very first thing I want to say is like let's have a look at his, and obviously he's got issues there because Moon is I mean, I don't know, it could possibly be in there as well, but the house that is going to be very strong is Venus is in Libra, so that's strong. And also Saturn is aspecting Capricorn, so Capricorn for him is strong as well. So if we see this from Aries ascendant, 10th Lord is aspecting the 10th house, so that's very, very strong. And obviously 7th house ruler is in the 7th house, but Venus in the 7th house gives you a lot of goes at relationships, because they're here to learn relationship things, you know. And Jupiter is also aspecting Venus, so he has that issue that he can be a bit picky about partners, and it will give both of them Jupiter, you know, aspecting the planet of love, so it gives a lot of relationship goes. The good thing is with him, though, he has got Jupiter and Mars together, and that means that Jupiter is calming down the Mars. So he is, in terms of controlling his anger and his energy, he's less likely to actually do that. He's less likely to waste his energy reserves, if you like. So let's have a look at their charts now in terms of like see what's going on between them. If we were actually, let's get rid of that as well. So this is James's one. So he's got Rahu in Pisces. This is Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and so forth, all the way back to Pisces. So don't forget about the ascendant. Don't look at that. And this is again Aries, all the way through to Pisces for Yasmin. So we're just going to see what was the attraction between them. The very first thing I can see is Venus Rahu. Venus Rahu is a really big attraction. Rahu is friendly with Venus and he wants to learn about relationships, which is cute. And then we have, okay, so Ketu on the moon. So there is like, when some of this Ketu is and some of this moon, it's just like they know each other from previous life, and also Ketu and Jupiter as well. It, you know, it's just like a really quite nice thing. You know, they kind of recognize each other. So there is some kind of karma from previous life. So he feels nurtured by her because his Ketu is on her moon, and she might have been his guru or father figure, you know, in a previous life, because you know how we recycle is always different. And look at this now. So we have her Rahu is on her Sun, Mercury, and so in terms of friendships, Rahu Mercury works really well. But Rahu Saturn and Rahu Sun is quite difficult. You know, it's just like she wants to get to know his son, which is his soul. But I mean, how could anybody know that? You know, it's just soul journeys are just very personal. So yeah, so that's probably making, you know, and the Sun and Saturn is difficult anyway, and having her Rahu on top of that is quite a difficult one. So that's probably the very first difficult one there. And then I'm not going to look at the moon for him, because moon could be here in Capricorn or also there. And the other thing as well, Mars and Saturn, his Mars is on her Saturn and his Jupiter also on her Saturn. So she just takes the energy and vitality of the relationship out, because wherever Saturn sits, it actually creates that issue with, you know, the lack. So she's serious and he wants to have fun, and she just can't be doing that, you know. So his planet of wisdom and optimism is actually lacking by the Saturn there. And also he wants to put energy into things, and she's probably really like, well, we can do this, you know, she can be quite serious. So this is where things are going wrong. Just going to have a quick look at their D9. So they got Jupiter on top of each other. So with time, that actually becomes quite good. And Mercury, her Mercury is in Taurus, his is in Cancer, so they're sextile to each other. So 3 and 11, that's quite good. They can have quite good fun together, you know, in those terms. I'm not going to look at his moon because it could have been wrong. And then Saturn. There you go. Her Saturn is there in Scorpio, and his is in Sagittarius. So there are 12 and 2. So that's not very good. But there's still quite a lot of attraction because her Rahu is sitting on his Venus. So that's quite a nice one too. And but I am going to take her moon though, because I think he's going to stay in Virgo anyway. So this means that his Mars is right on top of her moon, and that's a really strong attraction as well. So you can see that there is this kind of attraction, but can't really see that it's going to go that far really. So this is probably the reason why they kept getting back together and finishing all the time, because that Rahu Venus and Mars moon. But I can't, you know, and his Rahu is also on her moon, which is really very attractive. But it's not, you know, that I can see that there could be issues because their Marses are 6 and 8 from each other. Sun is trinal, so that's pretty good. But her K2 is on his Mercury, so she can take that away from everything. And I think ultimately, the nodes tell us very much about whether or not we're supposed to be with somebody. And if you look, K2 there, so they're 12 and 2, and Rahu is also 12 and 2. So it would not last because, you know, there is not a karmic thing going on there for better or for worse. So that's it, folks. I hope you enjoyed that. I look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.